Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. And welcome to our awards ceremony. Would you please rise for the presentation of the colors, then remain standing for the national anthem and also for the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I would like to introduce Pastor Jeff Baxter, who's a Lakewood Police Chaplain and also the lead pastor at River Church, for our invocation.
Let's pray together. Father God, thank you for this day. Today we gather to celebrate these brave men and women who have had an exceptional year in law enforcement. Thank you for their service to our community. Thank you for their support of families. Thank you for their hand of protection over our department, our officers, staff, and families. We recognize the profound role that they play on a daily basis as servants to our community. They provide justice, safety, care for those within our community. They do more than any of us could fully realize, and we're grateful. We give thanks for their commitment to serve and protect. Now we invite your presence to be with us this afternoon in joyful celebration. And we each here today ask for your presence in our lives. I pray you, Lord, would bless them and guide them in a way that is right, just, and fair. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor, and please have a seat, everybody. And I neglected to mention that was Agent Ike Beers singing the national anthem today, so thank you, Ike. Good afternoon. I'm Dan McCasky, the Lakewood Police Department Chief of Police. And on behalf of the employees of the Lakewood Police Department, I want to thank everyone for attending our 2018 Police Department Awards Ceremony, where we honor the outstanding achievements and actions of our employees, our volunteers, and our law enforcement partners. On October 1st, 1962, the 87th Congress of the United States of America approved a joint resolution authorized by the President to proclaim May 15th of each year as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the calendar week of each year during which such May 15th occurs as Police Week. So this day and this week honor law enforcement officers throughout the nation who have been killed or wounded in the line of duty. And it also honors the service of the men and women of our profession who night and day stand guard to protect our communities. And while our ceremony may not occur exactly during Police Week or on Police Officers Memorial Day, this is still a time to recognize and honor the men and women of the Lakewood Police Department who serve and protect our community. It's also a time to pay tribute to those who have paid the ultimate price and given their lives serving our citizens. And it is time to pay tribute to their families as well that they have left behind. So I would ask that you please join me in a moment of silence to recognize Douglas County Sheriff's Deputy Zachariah Parrish, Adams County Sheriff's Deputy Heath Gum, and El Paso County Sheriff's Deputy Micah Flick. Thank you. Before we get started, I just wanted to recognize some of our honored and distinguished guests. Some of our mayor and city council members are here. Mayor Adam Paul, Councilor Ramey Johnson, and City Councilor Mike Beda are present. Also, our city manager, Kathy Hodson, and Arvada Police Chief Ed Brady is also present. So please give them a round of applause to welcome them. And it's a big crowd, so if I've missed anybody, my sincerest apologies. So also, I'd like to introduce with me the members on stage with me today. And I'd like to start with Division Chief Steve Rickles, who's our Patrol Division Chief. Division Chief Anita Kester, who's the Investigations Division Chief. And Division Chief Ed Lower, our Support Services Division Chief. And Commander Rob Buchan, who's our Awards Committee Chairman. So give them a round of applause, please. So the first part of our program is the Police Athletic League scholarships, and I'd like to invite Detective Sergeant Matt Testa to the stage to present those.
Thank you, Chief. My name is Matt Testa. I serve as the president of the Lakewood Police Athletic League Board. I want to, thanks to the ongoing support of the league's membership, which includes most of the sworn personnel and many of the civilian personnel of the police department, the PAL has donated several $1,000s in support of Lakewood youth athletic teams over the last year. Annually, we award $1,000 scholarships to 4 students from area high schools and to the graduate of a PAL member. These are awarded to students who set a positive example through their service, their sacrifice, and scholastics. Assisting with the presentations today of these scholarships are PAL board members Justin Maines and Brian Paisley. If I could have them to the stage, please. Thank you. I'm going to call each student up individually, and as I do, I'll read a short bio for that student, and if they'll make their way to the stand while I'm doing that, I appreciate it. Our first student is Rebecca Huerta from Alameda International High School. Rebecca comes from a family of 10 and is planning on attending Colorado State University to study sports medicine. Rebecca served on the Denver Student Board of Education and played varsity golf and volleyball. Rebecca does volunteer work through her church and has held several jobs while attending high school and served as an athletic training intern at Alameda High School. Next is Christina Pott. Christina is planning to attend University of Colorado at Denver to study as a dental hygienist. Christiana will be the first person in her family to attend college. She was on her school debate team and on the Bear Creek lacrosse team. Christiana is lettered for academic achievement. She also completed a 2-year program for graphic design at Warren Tech and won several awards for her designs. Christiana has worked several jobs during high school and done volunteer work through the National Art Honor Society. Next, I'd like Caleb Madison to come to the stage, please. Caleb is an International Baccalaureate Diploma Scholar and part of the Lakewood High School Honors Program. He's planning to study developmental economics at the University of Denver. He also lettered in cross country, track, academic achievement, and orchestra. Caleb is also a medallion holder of the National Society of High School Scholars. Caleb volunteers at the Food Bank of the Rockies and completed an internship at Lockheed Martin Aerospace. 2 students who couldn't be with us today is Brooke Thompson from Green Mountain High School, who got a PAL scholarship, and the daughter of our detective, Sean Templeton, Erin Templeton, who will be attending Washington State University. She's up there now on a tour. So with that in mind, would you give a hand to our scholarship recipients this year? Thank you. Now I'd like to invite Chief Ed Lohr to the podium.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Ed Lohr. I'm a division chief for the Support Services Division. And today we're going to honor 2 employees out of that division that have just had an incredible year, 2017. The first one is Volunteer of the Year, Mr. Frank Sayer. Frank, I know you're here. Okay, good. As Frank, yeah. Frank is a standout member of what I call just a stellar group of volunteers that we have in the police department. Frank has been with us since April of 2012. During the last 6 years, he's donated more than 6,000 hours of his own time. And this last year alone, 1,500 hours. That's incredible. So we're averaging 28 hours a week here, Frank. Thank you very much. He not only works weekends, but then he comes in on weekdays to help our victim advocates out, doing all that he needs to do to take their workload off. Yeah, he also works a variety of jobs within our volunteer support team, and these people do a lot. Frank helps with the parking enforcement for people with disabilities. He helps with motorist assists, extra patrols, crime prevention through environmental design, and he serves on a variety of response and service teams. Needless to say, Frank stays very busy within our community and our department. Whenever the need arises, Frank is always there. He volunteers day or night, and his commitment to the department is unmatched. Frank, thank you so much for your dedicated services to the police department and to the citizens of Lakewood, and those efforts have earned you the Volunteer of the Year Award. Thank you very much. Okay, my next honor that I have is to speak about a civilian that I have on my records section. So if I can have Miss Patricia Current make her way up to the stage. Once again, another standout member of an awesome section in my department, the records section. Patricia works in a profession where much of what we do is driven by data, statistical analysis, and we're very fortunate to have you. Patricia provides a myriad of services to us, the department, to the community, and those who ask of her. She puts their needs before anybody else's, to include hers. She provides statistical analysis on a host of topics, requests for information, which seem to never end, citizen complaints, which require some sort of backup or data, and a lot of city council requests. Yes. She's been a major force for us as we start to establish a new records management system and all that's going into that. She's been noted as an expert in all the data and all the things that go into this particular program. Her expertise in all things has guided the developers in design and coding for our new records management system. Pretty impressive when they're asking you for advice, right? She often alters her work schedule to accommodate product testing and putting, once again, the needs of others first before hers. In her free time, Patricia helps with training coworkers to also become system analysts. So we've got kind of a passing of the torch here, so that's good, and we appreciate that. We're very fortunate. We're very fortunate to have Patricia. The city is very fortunate, the community is too, and with that, it's an honor and well-deserving to give you the Civilian of the Year Award. Thank you. I'll now ask Division Chief Anita Kester to come up to the podium.
I'm Anita Kester, and I have the honor of being the Division Chief over investigations. And tonight I get to present 3 awards. If Detective Jeff Larson would come to the stage, please. Detective Larson is receiving the Detective of the Year award, and that's no small feat. He has been a detective in the Investigations Division since 2015, and he is affectionately called Jeff by many of his peers. I had to. He started on the Major Crimes team and volunteered to be part of the new Family Crimes Unit in 2018. There are several cases in 2017 that highlighted his dedication, commitment, his work ethic, and his passion. The first was his work on the St. George attempt homicide case, in which 2 of our own Lakewood agents were targeted, and the second case was a kidnapping in which a 19-year-old was kidnapped by an ex-boyfriend and taken her to Utah, and he intervened on both. Detective Larson was the lead detective on both these cases, and he had demonstrated an extensive amount of commitment, attention to detail, and willingness to do everything possible to ensure conviction and justice for our victims. Both cases went to trial, resulting in successful prosecution. Ironically, both of these cases occurred in the same week, the trials. He figured out what I've been trying to for years, of how to be in 2 places at the same time, but he did a good job at it. Detective Larson's logs are peppered with comments such as, Jeff was on call and helped out. Jeff was in training and left to help. Jeff was on vacation and came in to help. And we do need to talk about that. Jeff was super busy with his cases and helped. He was working a homicide and helped on a second homicide. He was called out on a sex assault and took a second sex assault. The criteria for Detective of the Year is a detective who demonstrates personal initiative, tenacity, and teamwork, endeavors to solve a major crime or series of crimes, demonstrates ingenuity on a unique assignment, and demonstrates commitment and professionalism, not only to the department and the division, but to the Lakewood community as a whole. This truly is Detective Larson. It is my honor and privilege to award Jeff Larson with the Detective of the Year award. The next award I get to honor is the Ace Auto Theft Award, and Aaron Hassel. Where's he at? I saw him earlier. There he is. So this is Aaron's 3rd year in a row of receiving this award. Would you like to just give your own spiel? Okay. You've done it enough.
I'd like to thank Carl
This annual Top Gun Award is presented to the agent who, through their dedicated work, has made a significant impact to address auto theft. The criteria for this award is the recovery of a stolen vehicle, but it's not just the vehicle. You also have to get an arrest of the suspect in that vehicle. The agent is awarded 1 point, or in this case, a lightning bolt, for each physical arrest of an auto theft suspect. Little statistics. According to 2017, there were over 19,000 reported motor vehicle thefts in the state of Colorado, with an average of 375 vehicles stolen each week in Colorado. In 2017, our patrol division recovered 204 occupied stolen vehicles, with Aaron earning 46 of those. And in his career, an impressive total of 188 lightning bolts. Agent Hassel has demonstrated his dedication and creativity to addressing the pervasive problem of auto theft in the metro area. He shares his knowledge and talent with others on his team and throughout the department. And what he probably won't tell you is that his goal was 50 this year, but because he does so much field training, he gave 4 of his arrests to his recruit so that the recruit could have them. So he missed his goal. Better luck next year. See you up here next year. Aaron also received the Colorado Auto Theft Officer of the Year Award at the recent Colorado Auto Theft Investigators Conference, also known as CAT-I, in Durango this month. Aaron Hassel is commended for all of his professionalism and hard work, and it is my honor to say thank you for all the work you're doing. And if I could have Agent Chris Bacon come on up. Agent Chris Bacon received a Chief's Commendation and recently the Dr. John McDonald Memorial Award at the Robbery Investigators Conference in Breckenridge last week. He received this award for his work in helping to solve a series of robberies occurring in the metro area, and more specifically Lakewood. Suspect information was given to law enforcement throughout the metro area looking for a suspect vehicle description with very unique features. Agent Bacon located a vehicle matching the description. He developed the probable cause to stop the vehicle, and upon contacting the occupants, discovered the passenger matched the description of our robbery suspect. He identified the occupants, gained consent to search the vehicle, and photographed bags inside the vehicle that matched those used in previous robberies. As a result of Agent Bacon's attention to detail, it provided detectives the necessary information to initiate surveillance, obtain telephone records, and get the search warrants. Suspects were taken into custody, and the district attorney's office accepted 11 counts of robbery. As a result of Agent Bacon's initial identification, attention to detail, and traffic stop, 2 dangerous felons were arrested. Thank you for all your hard work, and congratulations. And I would like to invite Division Chief Steve Rickles to the stand.
Good afternoon. I have the distinct honor of presenting Agent Mike Bassett with the Patrol Agent of the Year Award. So Mike, if you could come on down. So I've got a few great things to say about Mike and some things that have been said not only by his peers, but also his supervisors. Mike is an energetic, proactive agent who gives it his all every shift. He is admired by his peers for his strong work ethic and willingness to go above and beyond no matter what the call. Mike is a respected arrest control instructor and a valued member of the peer support team. His sergeant highly rated Mike in his 2017 evaluation and recommended him for the Agent of the Year Award. The following are just a few excerpts from his evaluation. Agent Bassett has shown he has excellent knowledge, decision-making, and a strong work ethic. He is frequently first to clear roll call and go into service. Mike has a strong desire to do things right the first time and strives to become a better agent. He's a strong team player who possesses a positive, upbeat attitude and brings excellent communication skills to the job. From one of Mike's peers to Mike's sergeant, quote, Agent Bassett's action and a non-criminal call were above and beyond, and he did an excellent job instilling a positive image of police in the minds of kids on scene that will leave a lasting impression. His sergeant stated, "Through very hard work and dedication, Mike Bassett has earned my full trust. If I need a job done, I call Agent Bassett, and I know it will be completed correctly and in a timely manner." Agent Bassett is an agent others look up to and emulate. As an example of Mike's excellent work, the victim of a stranger's sex assault at a local Lakewood park provided a picture of only the suspect's arm tattoo she had captured on her cell phone. With just that tattoo, Mike looked at that tattoo and remembered it from a pedestrian contact he'd made the night before at a convenience store. Agent Bassett returned to the store, obtained video footage, and provided a still image of the suspect to law enforcement and RTD. An RTD employee recognized the suspect and knew where he resided. Agent Bassett subsequently contacted the suspect and arrested him. The arrest may never have occurred had it not been for Mike's work. In closing, Agent Bassett's commitment to the Lakewood Police Department and our citizens is without question. It is my honor to present Agent Mike Bassett with the 2018 Agent of the Year Award. Mike, we're really lucky to have you. We're really lucky to have you. Lucky to be here. Excellent work. Our next award is our DUI Enforcer of the Year, Paul Ciravella. Paul, I think we did this last year. Welcome, Paul. Congratulations. Agent Mike Mon was very active with driving under the influence enforcement while he was with Lakewood until his death in 2009. As a tribute to Mike, the DUI Enforcer of the Year Award is presented to the agent who leads in enforcement. Agent Paul Ciravella has been dedicated to the DUI program for the past 16 years. Between 2012 and 2017, Agent Ciravella has arrested 381 DUI violators, and in each of those years, Paul was a DUI Enforcer of the Year. He is an active drug recognition expert and trainer of the standard field sobriety test for the Academy and in-service training. He arrested 50 DUI violators in 2017, in addition to doing all of his regular patrol duties. The citizens who live in and drive through Lakewood are safer because of the efforts of Agent Paul Ciravella. Thank you, Paul. Chief McCasky, turn it over to you.
If I could invite Paul to stay up on the stage, also have Agent Jeff Hagerman, Nick Laggett, Gordon Lawcock, David Noble, and Vanessa Schultz come to the stage. So we are awarding a Chief's Commendation today, and this is awarded to employees for notable performance demonstrating commitment and professionalism, or one who maintains their composure when faced with a highly volatile situation, demonstrating selfless conduct during a time of crisis. So the award today, in 2015, the Lakewood Police Department and member agencies of the JEFCOM 911, or our Regional Communications Center, made the determination to contract with TriTech computer-aided dispatch systems. And this was something different than what the Lakewood Police Department was currently using. As a result, trainers were needed to implement the switchover. So Agents Gordon Lawcock and Jeff Hagerman led the team and were joined by Agents Paul Ciravella, Nicholas Laggett, David Noble, and Vanessa Schultz. Their efforts facilitated and minimized the disruption of this major operational project. Agents Lawcock and Hagerman began by simplifying the software, and then they developed a training program. The next step was to train the trainers, and together the team began to process the teaching of multiple levels of users how to navigate this new system. They designed a 24-hour schedule and offset weeks to accommodate in-service training. They also developed lesson plans and made sure all of our EOC laptops were loaded with the training software. They also worked with IT, our Information Technology Department, to design our mobile data computer configuration for the patrol cars, which was really praised by all of our police agents. With the successful switchover to JeffCom on April 4th, 2018, the agents worked from 5 a.m. until past midnight that day to ensure that each of our watches had the system oversight they needed and to make sure there were no issues. They continue to address ongoing concerns with the configuration, logon issues, and other interface problems within TriTech. The TriTech coordinator thanked agents Lawcock and Hagerman and the team and thanked them for their time and their efforts into creating the TriTech training and pre-planning such a smooth transition. The trainings were set and staffed by all the trainers, and they were fully equipped and informed to provide the best training possible. So Agents Chiravella, Hagerman, Laggett, Lawcock, Noble, and Schultz, may I add my commendation for your notable performance and praise your commitment and professionalism to this organization. Thank you for maintaining Lakewood's standard of excellence. So, thank you. I have another Chief's commendation, so if I could have Agents Patrick Lone, Kyle Okamura, and Brandon Saunders come to the stage. And I have to comment how good Kyle and Patrick look. They're normally in their K-9 uniforms, and so they look pretty good in their dress uniforms today. Early in the morning of January 31st, 2018, agents responded to a structure fire of a multi-unit apartment complex located in the 400 block of Van Gordon Street. Agents Brandon Sanders and Justin Cruz arrived and immediately began evacuating residents. As they approached the third-floor apartment, flames were coming from inside. The siding and the walls began to melt and debris was falling. Despite the rapidly deteriorating conditions, both agents continued to check and clear each apartment. Agents Patrick Lone and Kyle Okamura arrived on scene and also began evacuations and escorted people to safety, including a blind resident who was stranded on a third-floor apartment. When the fire department arrived, all the residents had been evacuated from the 24 apartment units. The exterior stairwell had become completely engulfed in flames moments after the evacuations concluded. Had these agents hesitated, the only escape route would have been inaccessible and likely would have resulted in loss of life for the residents. Agent Sanders, Okamura, and Lone, you were exposed to toxic smoke, flames, possible structure collapse, and at times zero visibility. And today you are being awarded the Chief's Commendation for maintaining your composure, for serving selflessly in the midst of an extremely hazardous environment. You have my personal gratitude and admiration for your efforts in the midst of adversity, so thank you. Congratulations. I have a citizen commendation now, and the citizen commendations are awarded to a private citizens whose efforts result in the saving of a life or for significant assistance rendered to employees of the police department. So could I ask Mr. John Keycafer to come to the stage along with Miss Tiffany Jacobs and Miss Melanie Bridenstine. On September 30th, 2017, retired Lakewood Police Commander Jim Keycafer was driving his vehicle and had stopped at Wright Street and Jewel Avenue for a red light. Without warning, Jim stopped breathing and lost consciousness. His son, John, was in the passenger seat and was able to put the vehicle in park before it traveled forward, and he tried to attend to his father. Melanie was driving by in her vehicle and noticed something was seriously wrong. She immediately parked her car to assist John, and together they moved Jim from the car to the ground to perform life-saving measures. John made a call to report the emergency. Tiffany Jacobs was also driving by and stopped to assist. While John and Melanie performed chest compressions, Tiffany provided rescue breaths. Within minutes, paramedics arrived and assumed control of the rescue efforts with medications and a defibrillator. Jim was transported to the hospital, and upon arrival, he was actually awake. After medical treatment, he was released from the hospital 2 weeks later. So Mrs. Bridenstine, Ms. Jacobs, and Mr. Kiekefer, it's only because of your immediate response and accurate assessment that Jim Kiekefer survived this medical emergency. You were the first link in a chain of events that allowed medical professionals the opportunity to sustain life, and therefore it is my privilege to present you with the Lakewood Police Department Citizen Commendation Award. Thank you. The next award is a Chief Special Recognition, and this is recognition is awarded to a person in recognition of special support to the police department or its personnel. So if I could have Arvada Police Sergeant Greg Luby and his wife, Miss Tracy Suzuki Cooley, come to the stage, please. On January 14th, 2018, while waiting for a red light at West 2nd Avenue and Wadsworth Boulevard, off-duty Sergeant Luby and his wife, Tracy, witnessed a pickup truck rear-end another vehicle in the lane next to them. Sergeant Luby immediately ran to the passenger side of the truck just as the vehicle door opened. He was greeted by a dazed juvenile male exiting the truck. Sergeant Luby saw a semi-automatic handgun with a hammer back where the juvenile had been sitting. He immediately secured the weapon and placed it in his waistband. As the driver exited the vehicle, Sergeant Luby identified himself as a police officer. Tracy called 911 to report the accident and advised dispatchers that an off-duty Arvada officer had one of the subject's weapons. The driver was speaking Spanish to the passenger, and they gave the impression they were both about to run from the scene. Sergeant Luby could distinguish the word pistola in the conversation between the two men. Unable to get the door open, the driver reached through the window for something under the front seat. At this point, Ms. Suzuki Cooley took charge of the passenger while Sergeant Luby moved toward the driver's side door. He could plainly see the driver had taken a semi-automatic handgun from the truck. Sergeant Luby reminded the subject that he was a police officer, and as he retrieved the seized weapon from his waistband, he ordered the suspect to drop his weapon. The driver responded by placing the weapon in his waistband. Lakewood agents arrived immediately on scene and then were able to take both the suspects into custody with Sergeant Luby's assistance. Sergeant Luby and Ms. Suzuki Cooley, you found yourselves in a precarious situation after witnessing a traffic collision. Within a few minutes, you were involved in a high-stress tactical scenario, and as a result of their professionalism, 2 dangerous felons remained on scene and were taken into custody. It is therefore my privilege to present Sergeant Greg Luby and Tracy Suzuki Cooley with the Lakewood Police Department Chief Special Recognition Award. Thank you. We have some life-saving awards, and this award is given to an employee whose efforts result in the saving of a life. So if I could first have Agent Nick Laggett come to the stage. On Saturday, October 7th, 2017, shortly before midnight, a single vehicle crash occurred on West 6th Avenue at Union Boulevard. Eyewitnesses reported that a sport utility vehicle had rolled multiple times, resulting in significant damage. The vehicle came to rest upside down on a slight incline. Agent Laggett was first on scene and quickly assessed that the driver was trapped in the vehicle. And the driver also had serious injuries, including a significant compound fracture to his leg. Agent Laggett spoke with a conscious man and determined that the victim's blood loss had to be curtailed if he was going to survive the accident. Despite having no way to stabilize the vehicle and no protection from glass shards or leaking gasoline, Agent Laggett climbed into the SUV and applied a tourniquet to the driver's leg. Responding West Metro Fire's crews took about 30 minutes to perform complex extrication measures to rescue the driver. A West Metro Fire chief described Agent Laggett's actions as a calculated risk which likely saved the victim's life. So Agent Laggett, your courageous and quick response to this medical emergency undoubtedly saved the life of this man, and therefore it is my pleasure to present you with the Police Department Life-Saving Award. Congratulations. And if I could have Agent Lauren Bell come to the stage for another life-saving award. In the pre-dawn hours of June 30th, 2017, Agent Lauren Bell was flagged down by a person reporting an unconscious male lying in the parking lot of a West Colfax motel. Agent Bell quickly determined that the man was not breathing, had no pulse, and had exhibited signs of a drug overdose. He immediately administered the intranasal spray Narcan and began life-saving measures, but the victim still remained unconscious. After a second dose, the man regained a pulse and began to breathe. Paramedics arrived and transported him to the hospital where he regained consciousness and could communicate. Approximately 2 weeks later, on July 14, 2017, Agent Bell was dispatched to the 1400 block of Harlan Street on a report of an overdose. When he arrived, he found an unconscious man in the front door. Once again, he quickly recognized a drug overdose and immediately administered Narcan, along with other life-saving measures. The victim quickly started to breathe on his own. Paramedics arrived and they assumed care of the patient. When he regained consciousness, the patient actually began fighting with the first responders but was quickly subdued and transported to a hospital for treatment. So Agent Bell, in both cases, your actions saved the life of a person who was in cardiac and respiratory failure due to a drug overdose. Without your actions, both individuals were at risk of death or permanent disability. So your selfless actions to save the life of another are exemplary, and therefore it is my privilege to present you with the Lakewood Police Department Life-Saving Award. We have another life-saving award, so if Agent Andres Evans would come to the stage. On October 27, 2017, shortly before midnight, Agent Evans responded to a disturbance call in the 7300 block of West Florida. When he arrived, he heard a loud noise coming from an apartment building and then watched a shirtless man run down the stairs headed north away from him. Agent Evans identified himself as a police agent and ordered the man to return. As the man turned, he screamed that he had been stabbed and he was holding his chest and obviously had life-threatening injuries. Agent Evans moved closer to the victim, or moved closer as the victim continued to scream, fearing that he was going to die. Agent Evans could see a laceration in the man's chest, and he noted that the victim was having trouble breathing. Agent Evans was able to clean the laceration and applied a chest seal from his trauma kit. He continued to apply pressure on the seal as he noted some improvement in the man's breathing. With the arrival of additional agents, the scene was secured and the stabbing suspect was taken into custody. Paramedics arrived and assumed medical treatment, immediately transporting the victim to a nearby hospital. Doctors listed his prognosis as critical but stable. A captain at West Metro Fire Rescue commended Agent Evans for his quick thinking and effective treatment, which he said, quote, contributed to the positive outcome for the victim. Agent Evans, had you not responded quickly with the accurate analysis, the victim would have likely died at the scene. So in consideration of your exemplary response to this medical emergency, it is my privilege to present you with the Lakewood Police Department Life Saving Award. The next award is the Medal of Valor, and this is awarded to an employee for a conspicuous act of heroism which may involve an extreme risk of life and a high degree of courage. This is going to be awarded to Agent Charles Orris, and he's not able to attend today, so Sergeant Creighton Bates will accept the award for him. So Sergeant Bates, would you please come on down? On March 14, 2017, a stolen Mercedes-Benz sedan had been located and was on the move from a Northglenn apartment complex. As a member of the Auto Theft Task Force, Detective Orris and other detectives responded and began surveillance of this vehicle for more than an hour. The vehicle stopped at a park in Westminster, and the detectives watched as the driver exited the vehicle and walked toward another male riding a bike in the park. Noting that the park was deserted except for a few unoccupied cars, detectives felt they had an ideal opportunity to contact the suspect. Detective Orris and two other detectives approached the suspect, announced themselves as police, and ordered the subject to drop to the ground. Upon hearing the commands, the suspect took a few steps away from them up a grassy hill. He then placed his hands in his waistband, turned to the officers, and pulled a handgun. Fired one round in their direction, which narrowly missed one of the officers' heads. And they said they could hear the bullets going by them. The detectives fired at the suspect, and as he fell to the ground, he continued to point the handgun at the officers. Seeing no movement, the detectives immediately attempted to render aid, but due to the location of the injuries, their efforts were futile. Detective Orris, during your investigation of an aggravated motor vehicle theft, you were confronted with a serious and imminent threat of death or serious injury to you and fellow detectives. You acted with bravery and self-sacrifice for the welfare of others while serving under the color of your authority. So it is therefore my privilege to award Detective Orris with the Lakewood Police Department Medal of Valor. So we have the Hall of Fame Award, which is awarded to an employee who has distinguished himself through acts of professionalism, demonstration of leadership, peer recognition, and significant career achievement. So if retired Detective Dave Adams could come to the stage. Dave Adams retired after nearly 37 years of service with the Lakewood Police Department. He began his career on June 21, 1981. The hallmark of his career has been his devotion to helping children, and he was well known for his professionalism and diligence. After patrol, he served as a DARE officer, an Alameda High School resource officer, and he retired as a juvenile crime detective. His investigative skills were unsurpassed, yet he always managed to balance the best interest of the juvenile with community needs. In addition, he was a dedicated mentor to others, instructor for the Regional Police Academy, along with our youth and citizen police academies. He also lectured other law enforcement agencies on juvenile law and justice. As a senior member of our Honor Guard, he built the team and its professionalism. As a result, they now perform at formal events both nationally and throughout Colorado. With a mission to combat juvenile delinquency, Dave led Lakewood's nonprofit Police Athletic League program for more than 25 years, funding scholarships and sponsorships for youth sports. Dave mentored kids through the Boys and Girls Club, even to the point of dressing in a costume like the Grinch's sidekick, Max. Dave was recognized for his innovative work with youth by the American Legion as their Police Officer of the Year. He created a program that enhanced probation visits and with detectives and probation officers who work diligently together with a high-risk intervention team, or the HIT team. Most recently, Dave noticed a rise in problematic behavior of children under the age of 10. And discouraged by a lack of services, he organized a comprehensive program utilizing a broad spectrum of agencies to avert juveniles from the criminal justice system. So Dave, for your lifelong dedication to this department, Lakewood's children and their families, it is appropriate that you be inducted into the department's prestigious Hall of Fame. So congratulations, Dave. So today's recognitions are just a few examples of some of the actions, the selfless actions performed by the members of the Lakewood Police Department and members of our community, and these occur on a daily basis. And it's such a tremendous honor to be able to honor all the men and women here today. So they accomplish something we all strive for, and that's to make the lives of others better. So for that, I ask that you give one more round of applause to all of our recipients today. I'd also like to wish the best for our PAL scholarship recipients today, and good luck in college, and thanks for being such great members of our community, and remember to come back and see us. But good luck to all of you as well, and thank you all for being here today. It's an honor and a privilege to recognize the men and women of the Lakewood Police Department in our community, and you know, some of these awards are it's difficult. Policing is a difficult profession, and there's no end in sight for it to become more difficult. So the bravery and courage and the professionalism of the men and women of this organization is just something to really be proud of. So thank you for recognizing that today, and thank you all for being here, and have a wonderful and safe afternoon.